You know, I thought about this the other week about doing sort of a cold opening as opposed to just launching straight into my little intro sequence. That only kind of works really if you have something of interest or value that you can actually cold open with. So, hello and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt, as always, because there's nobody else here under my bed sheets in my room. Yeah, it's just me. Let's talk about some slightly relatable things. So, cats. You know what cats are good for? Warming your lap. So, our cat is, I'd say, fairly sociable. Obviously, she has her whole, I'll go off and sleep in another room and I don't want anybody to touch me or come near me because I need about 20 hours of sleep. But she will sometimes come and scream at you and say, "Oi, I want your attention" and stuff. So, if you then accept, basically by offering up your legs or your body in some sense that she can then use to perch on, welcome to the next 45 minutes of your life. You are legally obligated and contractually obligated to stay there and not move a muscle because the animal's well-being and comfort is top priority, and you get the benefits of a nice warm lap. In summer, not so fun, but in winter when it's cold, it's pretty nice. You will also have to be subject to some chlorage, and if you so desire to pee, hold it. So yeah, if you don't have very good bladder control or you're really need to go, have fun with that. It's gonna be either you have to disrupt the cat or you just have to kind of suck it up and try not to wet yourself. But honestly, they can be quite comfortable. If I make sure that when they first come in, she, our cat, when she first comes in, if I make sure that I then get in a position that is comfortable for me before she settles and sits on me, then we can have a great relationship, a great time. It's comfortable. I can watch YouTube or play a game or something while she's there, and it's just nice. And the company's nice as well, because otherwise you're just sat alone in a room on yourself like I am right now. If she walks in, she's gonna make so much noise, but I think either she's out currently or she's sleeping somewhere, because like I said, cats need a hell of a lot of sleep. Right, let's talk about some hashtag relatable things. Windows is dumb. So dumb. So I got a work laptop that has all of the programs and the whatevers to make it function correctly for my job. And these are just generic Windows things, right? This is nothing to do with the specific applications I use for work. Firstly, so many things on my work laptop just crash. I could save a Word document and Word will crash. Or I could be trying to rename a document in File Explorer and File Explorer will crash. Or I'll try to delete an item and then the little I'll be trying to delete something like a notepad file, for example, which is kilobytes. It should just be you press the delete key and it's gone, but no, a weird file transfer thing will pop up saying deleting and it will take 4 or 5 seconds and it's like, Windows, what are you doing? And then the other annoying thing is that why is delete and rename in the right click menu next to each other? I was doing a task where I had to rename a file so I could upload it, and then later on I'd want to delete the file. So instead of trying to double click because I was clicking and dragging and doing all the stuff, I'd right click and then go rename because it's more accurate. But the problem being is that rename is the option below delete. So if you don't go to it, if you undershoot for rename, you hit delete instead, and then you've got to re-download the file, and why is it set that way? That's dumb. Put them separately. And this isn't necessarily a Windows thing. This is a Microsoft thing. The Excel spreadsheets that we use daily online, so they're online because it allows us to all collaborate on them. The dates in Excel online are by default set to American format and you can't change it. I tried and I'm just sat there like, this is so dumb, because the problem is a lot of the dates we have will be single digit numbers. So the month will be a single digit, so up to 9, and the date will be like 1, maybe 2. So the problem is if you interchange those two values, you get a valid date in both systems. So for example, the 2nd of April in England would be 2/4/2021. In American, it would be 4/2/2021. But to me, 4-2 sounds like the 4th of February. So it's like, I can't read this date because I don't know what system it's in, because some spreadsheets are in the American format and some aren't. And it's like, why? Why is there no consistency? But the problem is, as well, as if you copy from one spreadsheet that's in American and put it in another spreadsheet that's in English format for dating, it doesn't change. It keeps the formatting. So then I can have dates in a spreadsheet that are both in American and British format. Super confusing, super annoying, and I really wish they would not do that. Rant over. Let's talk about raisins, currants, and sultanas. Yeah, I'll just let that sink in a moment. Apparently, as far as I can tell, a raisin, a currant, and a sultana can all reference the exact same fruit item, despite the fact that there are then other fruit items with the exact names that are different. So, for example, there are things such as red currants and black currants. I mean, there's the whole thing called blackcurrant squash in England. I don't know if that's prevalent elsewhere. But then why can you say that a raisin, which is a dried up piece of grape, why can that be called a currant? And why can it be called a sultana? Because when I googled sultana, I didn't get the grape variant. I got like other dried up fruit things. Absolutely nightmarish, because the English language is dumb. We don't need 3 different words for the same thing when they also reference different things. No wonder people find English confusingly stupid. English is a simple language, relatively, compared to a lot of things, but we then have really stupid things like that. I think the one thing that's confusing is homophones, so words that sound the same but mean the different things, and the fact that we don't have phonetic consistency. So like, tough and borough are both OUGH, but they sound completely different. So for somebody who's learning the language, they'd have to know prior to reading a word how it's pronounced, which is, that leads me to a story actually in school where I made this mistake as a young child. I tried to read something phonetically based on sounds I'd heard elsewhere, and then got laughed at because it was incorrect. The teacher obviously understood that, yeah, reading that word, it does look like that. But the rest of the class, who clearly knew what the word was prior to that lesson for some reason, found it funny that I then pronounced it incorrectly. I won't say what word it is because reasons. It's nothing bad, it's just I don't want to say the word. I have a slight obsession with rearranging my room, like frequently. And by frequently, I mean maybe every couple years, but that's still kind of frequent considering a lot of people just set it and forget it. So I really like maximizing the space in my room, and I like making my room organized as best as possible, and I like solving problems. So one thing I did ages ago is I used to have a L-shaped curved desk, you know, those like big ones you see in offices. So I had to find a place to fit that in my room, which I did. I did do that. I actually fit it in with all of my other stuff. Nothing was lost. But where I had it positioned, it was opposite the door, so my back was facing the door. Now, that's not a huge problem outside of the fact that I tend to use headphones a lot, like listening to music or playing games or something. And if people were calling me for, I don't know, food or because we're going out or something, I wouldn't hear them. So what they'd have to do is they'd have to come up into my room and then tap on my shoulder, which would make me jump every single time. It was horrible because I'd have absolutely no clue. I couldn't even feel like the vibrations through the floor as they walked across my room, so that there was some sort of indication. So what I did is I've now put my desk next to my door so that I face the door essentially. So out of the corner of my eye I can see if it opens or not, because that's far less startling than somebody coming and tapping you on the shoulder when you've got no idea of their presence. So that's one thing I solved. The other thing I wanted to do at one point was I wanted to try and get a double bed in my room. It's technically possible, but in practice I think it would be quite bad. It would be very cramped. So we're not doing that. Plus double beds are expensive. You've got to buy the frame, and then you've got to buy the actual mattress itself, and the mattress is probably just as expensive, if not more expensive than the bed frame. And then you need proper bedding to fit on it correctly, and it's not worth it. As much as double beds are nice, not worth the price currently. When I'm a bit older and I can afford things myself, maybe then. But I've always wanted a chair in my room, like a comfortable chair that I can sit and watch TV, because that's another thing. I've crammed a 43-inch TV in my room. Yep, I did that. It works. It's gorgeous. It's a 4K Samsung TV. It's a smart TV as well, which I'm super happy about. Yeah, not much more to say about that. I'll try and figure out maybe a new pattern to put in, but the problem is I always end up putting it in a slightly worse position than last time. So something will get better, but something will get worse, and I'll either end up to compromise for it because the thing that got better is a priority over the thing that got worse, or I'll end up putting it back because I'm like, well, the other scenario was just infinitely better in the first place. So right, hopefully after I've cut this all down, I've got enough. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.